Welcome to Family Gamer TV. The Sims 4, the first new base game in the core series to come out in over 5 years, is out very soon. To prepare for its arrival, Family Gamer TV had a chat with our friends at fan site Sims VIP to find out what you need to know about the game and how it differs from The Sims 3. Site owner Alexis gave us 10 important facts and we've split them over 2 videos, so if you haven't done so already, make sure you go and check out the first to find out what else you need to know. Sims are now much better at doing more than one thing at a time.
Multitasking is a new feature in The Sims 4 where Sims can actually do more than one thing at a time. So if your Sim is on a treadmill, they can have a conversation with somebody that's sitting in front of them without them having to cancel that interaction and get off the treadmill and go around and talk to that person. The Sims don't act like robots anymore, which is something that I truly appreciate the team putting some effort into. You're not going to be able to do something along the lines of, go to the bathroom and then once you're done with the bathroom, head back into the kitchen to put something on the stove and then go to take a shower and then come back and cook. It's not that advanced or detailed, so you'd have to finish cooking and then go take the shower. But if you're sitting with a Sim and you're holding a plate of food in your hand, you can have a conversation with them standing up on the couch. It makes it a little more realistic as opposed to how in The Sims 3 you would have to complete all the actions on the top of the screen before you can do anything. We did have confirmation that Sims would be able to, for example, play the guitar while they're on the toilet. That was actually mentioned on Twitter by one of the gurus. So these are the little things that they're adding as far as the multitasking goes that make the Sims a little more believable, which is something that I think a lot of people are going to like, as opposed to just having robot Sims and and them not doing anything. So multitasking in The Sims 4 is definitely an improvement from the past series.
The Sims 4 has enough to offer that it will appeal to a wide range of players, including storytellers, builders, machinima makers, custom content creators, and most importantly for us, families and younger players.
As far as younger Sims fans are concerned, I think they're going to have a really great time using the new Create a Sim and Build mode. They're going to like the ease of it. You're not going to have to sit and spend so much time creating your Sims and homes. You can actually just jump right into the game, maybe even in 10 minutes, depending on how long you want to take. Randomize the Sim and jump right into game. I think also for younger fans, they're going to enjoy a lot of the humor that's back in The Sims 4. We haven't seen too much of it, but that Sims 2 charm is gleaming in the background in the game, and I think that the younger players will enjoy some of the more fun aspects of the game. There are a lot of different players in the Sims community, anything from machinima creators to custom content creators, modders, storytellers, builders. The community has a lot of different talent and a lot of different categories. Me personally, I run a news site for the game, which is something that I really do enjoy. I love finding the news and staying up to date. But if I have to look at it in the game's perspective, I would say I'm definitely a Create a Sim player. That's my thing. Create a Sim and live mode. So as long as I can create my Sims and play around, I'm pretty happy with that. Anything else, I don't really spend too much time on.
In The Sims 4, the world is made up of worlds, neighborhoods, and lots, each of which works slightly differently than they did in previous games.
Worlds in The Sims 4 are not going to be the same as we know them from The Sims 3 or The Sims 2. They've actually taken bits and pieces of different games and put them together to create a different style of a world. So, for example, there's 2 worlds that have been confirmed so far for The Sims 4. One is Willow Creek, the other is Oasis Springs. Both of these worlds can be viewed on a map, so if you toggle out to view the maps, you can seamlessly go back and forth and look at what the different worlds have. But when you look at the world as a whole, it breaks down into a few different categories. So, for example, each world will have at least 6 neighborhoods in them. It's not going to be an open world, so you're not going to be able to just run around the entire map like we do in The Sims 3. But what they did now is they take the world, they split it into 6 different neighborhoods. So you can only play one neighborhood at a time. It's very confusing for a lot of people, but I'll try my best to explain it. Neighborhoods. So there's 6 different neighborhoods. 5 of them have, each neighborhood has up to 5 lots inside the neighborhood. So you're looking at world, neighborhood, 5 lots in each neighborhood. So you can have residential or community lots, and the 6th neighborhood in the 6th neighborhood is a large park. The park in Willow Creek, for example, is called Magnolia Blossom. So if you wanted to head out of your house and go visit another neighborhood, you can visit a park as another neighborhood. Inside each neighborhood, they have lots. They can be community lots or residential lots. Obviously, only 5 lots per neighborhood, and you can only have 1 active lot at a time. It's very hard to try and explain this. Other than the neighborhoods and the lots, there's also the public spaces. So any area of the world which you can walk around in that's not directly connected to a lot, that is something called a public space. You cannot edit them. So we don't have like the edit town yet. We don't know if we will ever get it, but for now we don't. And the public spaces are fully loaded at a time. So if I had to try to explain something to you, let's say, I live in World A. And in World A, I want to live in Neighborhood B. And in Neighborhood B, I want to live on Lot C. It's kind of like a world and a world and a world. Now, what's going to make this a little more Sims 2 for players is that we have loading screens in the game. Any time you visit another lot within your neighborhood or world, you're going to encounter a loading screen. The game will trigger one. So let's say, for example, you want to travel from one world to another world. Obviously, you have to pick a lot in that world to travel to. So yes, you're going to get a loading screen. If you want to go from neighborhood A to neighborhood B in your world, you are going to encounter a loading screen. If you want to go from your house to your neighbor across the street, even if you're in the same neighborhood, you will encounter a loading screen. It's like loading screen, loading screen, loading screen. And, you can switch between 2 different Sims that might be on 2 different lots in your household. That's a loading screen. If you go to, if you're on a non-active lot, meaning that you don't occupy it, and you go to that lot from a public space, you will encounter a loading screen. So if I went from the sidewalk into the bar or the library, then yes, I'm going to have a loading screen. The only time that there is not a loading screen is when you go from a public space to your active lot. So if you are in your house and you want to walk outside and roam the streets, as long as you are not attempting to enter another lot, you can literally travel the entire neighborhood's public spaces. So if there's ponds and streets and all that is accessible to you from your active lot. Now let's say you left your house and you wanted to go to the bar, and you can travel seamlessly through the neighborhood to walk there, but then once you get to the bar, you're going to encounter a loading screen. I don't like it personally. It's not something that I was expecting to have as much of. I think we're gonna have like 5 or 6 different times in one session to look at loading screens, but apparently the reasoning behind this was that they wanted to make The Sims 4 accessible to a lot of players, so they had to do what they had to do to cut down the game from eating up, your computer's memory and other things. So
some of the features that were in The Sims 3 but are missing from The Sims 4 include creator style, pools, and toddlers.
The Sims 4 is missing a lot of features that made The Sims 3 great. One of them in particular being the creative style, where players could actually go in and customize every little detail of every little thing in the game. So you wanted your Sim's hair color to be a certain color, you can change it. There was a color wheel, or if you wanted to change objects in your house, you can, make cheetah couch and flames. And that's something that they decided to eliminate from The Sims 4, and there's no possibility of it ever coming back. I guess the technology behind it required a feature like that to be in the base game. So unfortunately, I don't know how far we'll get with the modding community, but so far they've proved that even with a little Create a Sim demo, they're doing some big things already, changing the colors of the skin, creating different skin tones just from a demo. So I do hope that when the full game is released, that we do have the modding community fix that for us, because that's definitely something that I didn't think I was going to miss until I started playing the Create a Sim demo, when I was like, oh, I just want to make it a little darker. And I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. So, you have, in Create a Sim specifically, you have to deal with whatever they give you as far as like different color swatches. So if they give you a t-shirt and they want it to be green and yellow and the other one's orange and black, that's if they don't, that's all you're going to get. So you have to pick and choose what you like. The selection of Create a Sim is going to have to be overloaded over time, because it's, at some point everyone's Sims are going to look the same, which is something that I think took a lot of creativity away from The Sims 3 for players who wanted to move on. So I definitely didn't know I was going to miss something like that up until I played and realized it was gone. Some of the other features that they're not exactly missing, as in they're never going to come back, but EA announced that they weren't going to be shipping the base game with pools and toddlers. The pools, I'll say, all right, we can get that, late at a later date. It's a pool. I mean, I know it's been in every base game since the original Sims, but if I'll push that to the side for a moment. But toddlers, that was the one thing I'm very upset about, is that when I start playing my game, I won't have, my baby is going to grow into a child. It's very unrealistic. But they reached out and said that they had to prioritize certain things for the game. And while I understand that there's crunch time and they have only a certain budget and certain things that they need to get done within a period of time, I don't understand how an entire life stage that's in between the rest got skipped. If there was no babies and they said that, I'd say, okay, they didn't start on the babies. They started with the toddlers going forward. That would be a little more realistic. But to have infants and then children and then you miss the toddlers in between, it's upsetting, to say the least. I love toddlers only because I played so much of them in The Sims 3. But I mean, it's not anything that's game breaking for me personally. They have said that they will do their best to get them out there at some point. They haven't said that it will never be there. So I'm hoping that they work on that ASAP, because how are you going to have a story in your game and all these weird stories that they like to promote? How are you going to have a weird story if you can't even properly grow a family, and have your generation after generation? So I don't know. I really do hope that that's something they're working on, so that it releases real soon after the game's out.
ESRB rates the game T for teen, and in the UK, the game has a PEGI 12 rating.
The official Sims website updated their website recently with the official rating for the North American version of the game, which is United States and Canada. It's T for teen, which according to the ESRB is suitable for any children ages 13 and up. There's some suggestive themes, maybe a little, crude humor, stuff like that. As far as The Sims 4 goes, the only thing that would even draw in a direction that way, as far as crude humor, I mean, you're going to have Sims dying. It depends on how parents feel about their kids seeing certain things like that. Even experiencing it or forcing it to happen. Other than your Sims woohooing, where you can't really see anything, they're just under the covers. There's that, and then there's just the whole killing thing. I don't know. I think personally, I've been playing this game even from back in The Sims 1, and although it was a little different back then, I don't think there's anything specifically in The Sims 4 that the parents should be worried about. Most of it is crude humor. you're gonna have, you know, little things here and there that go about. You know, maybe your sim might, you know, slap somebody, or you know, just the little bit of humor that's in it is really, there's no harm to it. Now, different countries obviously have different ratings. I know that Australia is always 16 plus. I know, I think in the UK it's usually 12 and up, PEGI 12, I think that is. And then there's also other countries like Russia who have, you know, their own laws in their country that conflict with the game. So it really depends on where you are. I would suggest just checking sometime in the next couple of weeks. Just check the ratings in your local rating, on the local rating sites. Well, for those of you who are waiting for the game to come out, you can head over to simsvip.com. You can check out all the latest news, reviews, previews, everything that you want to know for The Sims 4. You can also check out our fact sheet, which has every single thing you need to know about The Sims 4. So if there's anything you had doubts on, or anything that you wanted to clarify, it's all right there for you.
Thanks for watching the second part of our video on Sims 4 facts. If you haven't done so already, make sure you check out the first to get the first 5 of these 10 important facts on what you need to know about The Sims 4. And subscribe to Family Gamer TV and check back to find out when our review of the game goes live.